and welcome to the School of Rock Vlog, Season 3, Episode 3. I am your host, Pokematic, and this episode was, hit or miss. Alright, what am I talking about? Well, the band, they decide that they need to do a music video because it's the next big milestone that every band needs to go through. And, okay, that's interesting. It starts out with Tamika and Freddie wanting to jump over Lawrence on skateboards and do a trick so that they can get the video footage. Okay. And Summer is trying to get them to go faster, and Zach's just like, come on, did you think that there's a store called Ramp and stuff? And Summer's just like, well, Zach's just like, well, there is, and I found it. So they do their little trick, and they run away, and I mean, it's alright, and Principal Mullins comes in, almost busts them, and then they're trying to get away really, really fast, and I just kind of wonder how many times they had to try this stunt to get it to work. Because this was a pretty impressive stunt. Mr. Finn, he's doing his little daily vlog or whatever, bringing you the breakfast of today. And it's a chocolate donut. And Tamika comes zooming by on her skateboard and is crouched down low and goes under Mr. Finn, and Mr. Finn jumps and then lands on his donut. And Principal Mullins is just like, Mr. Finn, what are you doing? And he's just like, oh, just my daily push-ups. And it's kind of funny. And then in the classroom, they're talking about the next thing to do with the band and how they should probably make a music video. And with that, I just kind of can't help but wonder, okay, you're going to do a music video. But, you know, with music videos, a lot of times the band shows their faces. How are you going to do that with being secret? And if you're going to make a music video, are you going to distribute it? Because if you're going to distribute it, it's going to blow your cover. Whatever. Let's just roll with it. Let's let that little lapse in logic aside, and they actually end up doing something pretty good in the end. So, they have to come up with the way that they're going to do this music video. And this is where we get kind of the meh section, is that Summer kind of has a very big role in this. And it's not really in a capacity where Summer is doing a good job. It's kind of one of those Summer things aren't going my way kind of episodes. I mean, Summer has legitimate reasons for why she wouldn't be happy that things aren't going her way. Because she's the band's producer, and the band's screwing around when they're trying to make their music video, and they're not taking it too seriously. But Summer, she kind of gets that, I'm upset Summer look that we saw in, like, the first couple episodes of School of Rock, which really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Summer, she's much better at doing bubbly happy or crazy evil. That's what Summer is good at. Summer is good at bubbly happy and crazy evil. And maybe a little bit of trying too hard to act cool. But Summer distressed is not a good look on her. Summer distressed makes me just go, oh, boo-hoo, things aren't going your way. Yeah, she doesn't, maybe it's just the actress's fault. Maybe she just is not able to do distressed well. Maybe because all the other kids are able to do distressed pretty well. Or maybe the writers just don't give her anything to, like, legitimately be distressed over. Or maybe I've just gotten so used to summer first world problem distressed that when there is like a legitimate concern that I just lack the empathy. Or maybe it's some combination of all of it. But yeah, Summer has to do some cat herding and this little goat rodeo. And it ends up being pretty well. I mean, they decide that they're going to do the filming in the auditorium gymnasium. And how they go about it is Mr. Friend's friend Scab or Scat or whatever, he has a exterminator business, and he can get him cockroaches to fake a cockroach infestation. Okay, that's kind of funny. But before we get into that, I gotta talk about the little running gag of the episode. This episode it doesn't have a side plot, it just has a running gag of now that Lawrence is going to be in a music video, he has to come up with a new rocker look. And the first thing he wants to do is he wants to try to restyle his hair so he doesn't have like the comb to the side bowl cut. So he's like, I need some gel. Fred, can I borrow your gel? And Fred's just like, nobody borrows Freddy's hair gel. And just the timing and the delivery is what really, really sold that joke. Freddy, just being the pretty boy guy that he is, he's just like, you're not going to borrow my gel. We're good friends, but nobody borrows my hair gel. Yeah, that was funny. And Lawrence, he gets hair gel from somewhere, and he does this weird hairstyle where he has, it's like pulled over his face, and then it's just like, alright guys, I got my new look, high five, and then falls on the ground. And then Tamika is just like, smooth move, Larry. I think that maybe I'm just being overly predicting, but I have a feeling that Tamika is going to end up really being the straight man of this season. Like, I don't think she's going to really have another big going crazy episode where it's all about her. She's going to be like a precipitating event source of conflict, because that's also what happens in this episode, and they're not going to do that. But especially with like Lawrence, she is going to be the straight man. She's going to be playing it straight so often, and it's going to actually make the humor funny. Because when you got like these wacky comedies, what really sells it is the straight man's straight performance. and there's a lot of physical comedy in this episode, and just like with Mr. Finn falling on the ground and Lawrence falling on the ground, and I'm pretty sure at some other point in the episode Mr. Finn falls on the ground. And it's good. I love that Mr. Finn and Lawrence are able to do good physical comedy. Yeah. So the next thing that we get with Lawrence is that he dresses up as Prince. Like the purple suit, the frilly shirt, and like the moose style Jerry curl hair. And that I know is a joke for the adults that are forced to watch this with their kids. The kids are going to see it and they're just going to go, ha ha ha, Lawrence looks silly. But the adults and the teens and the babysitters and whatnot, they're going to see it and go, that kid looks like Prince. That's funny. And, you know, it was funny. And then Summer, she's just like, no! And, I mean, it probably would have been funnier if Tamika delivered it, because I think it's Brianna Wu. She is a much better straight man than Summer. But, you know, you can't have Tamika constantly be the straight man, because at the same time she's kind of going through the trouble because she and Freddie have to try to come up with how they're going to make this music video. Yeah. So, the roach infestation. What they do is Mr. Finn comes with, he has two Chinese takeout boxes full of cockroaches. And he's just like, hey, Summer, I've got the thing. And Summer's just like, Mr. Finn, you're being too inconspicuous. And Mr. Finn's just like, right. And he does this little thing where he's doing like the whole Mission Impossible bit in like acrobatics and whatnot and crawling on the ground. And it went on just a tad too long. I mean, it was kind of one of those... It kind of ended up being one of those gags where you just kind of go on and on and on and on. It's kind of like the Family Guy dad noises gags, where they just go on and drag on and on and on. And through weird science of psychology, that's what makes it funny, because you're getting distressed and it just keeps going on, and when you think it's over, nope, it's still going. And I mean, technically it's a joke, but it just drags on and on and on. And it wasn't all that good. But I think it might have just been a little bit filler, because maybe the writers didn't think of anything else that they needed that they could really stick in there. They couldn't come up with another joke or whatnot, so they just kind of padded it out with that. And then Mr. Finn, he kind of jumps back up and he's just like, so, you think nobody saw me? And then Summer's just like, everybody saw you. And then there's this hallway of kids that are just staring at him, and he's just like, right, yeah. I mean, that little bit was funny, and if they didn't drag it on, it could have been a decent joke. It could have been a good joke, but they just took it a little too far and just didn't play out right. And again, Summer, she's not the best straight man. Just because her actress can't do distressed well, or someone can't direct her to do distressed well, or whatever. I don't know why, and I won't continue to speculate. I'll just say that Summer can't do distressed. Anyway, so what's the little conflict and sense of urgency is that Clark is onto them. Clark suspects something, and Clark, he's pretty sure that School of Rock is Mr. Finn's class. It's Mr. Dewey Finn and all of his rival kids that he doesn't get along with. And apparently he's been demoted to kindergarten hall monitor. So he just monitors the kindergarten hall. That's kind of funny, okay. And he's with the kid that took his position. And he's just like doing a stakeout and trying to find out what the kids are up to at lunch. And he's trying to read lips. And the replacement kid is just like, you think this is why you got demoted? And he's just like, shut up. I must be able to find their secret. That way I can get my position back. And this kid that plays Clark, he's a good comedic genius. Hopefully he goes places. I really hope that he goes places, because he can really play the little evil twerp well. I'm not saying that he'll be able to, like, pull it off as an adult, like the transition from child actor to adult actor is going to be well, but he can do the evil little twerp in other things. Like, he could do he's the Randall of the school, and he'll be able to pull off little twerp in, like, other TV shows and probably some good, like, TV movies and whatnot. Because he just oozes the snarky child evil, but at the same time just mischievous due to being too good sort of deal. And you know what I'm talking about. it's the snitch. He plays a good snitch. And so, the cockroaches. Mr. Finn and Summer each take a box of cockroaches, and Clark is onto them. He tries to get on them, and he calls Principal Mullins over, and Principal Mullins is just oblivious to what's going on, but at the same time she does pose a figure of authority, and again, it works out really well. I gotta say it again, I love what the writers do with Principal Mullins. Because I know in the movie Principal Mullins was the villain, but at the same time in the movie Dewey Finn was the main character. In the TV show, the kids are the main character. And since the show is about the kids, it makes sense that a kid is their primary antagonist and not the principal. The principal is just there to be a figure of authority. But she's a rather nice figure of authority. And her actor, she kind of gives us this nice, happy personality of, oh, I'm pretty nice, just don't do anything wrong. And when she comes over and sees Mr. Finn and Summer acting somewhat suspicious and talking, just kind of hanging out in the hallway, she asks kind of what's going on, and I can't remember what's going on, but I remember that one of the cockroaches gets out, and Mr. Finn starts kind of freaking out because it's crawling all over him, but he's doing his best to hide it, and it's alright acting, decent acting. So then we get to the gym, and Freddy and Zach and Summer are in the gym, and they're trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to convince them that there's a roach infestation? And Mr. Finn's like telling Principal Mullins that there's a roach infestation, and she's not buying it. So then Summer gets the bright idea to dump the cockroaches on Zach, and Zach runs through the halls in front of Principal Mullins, and yeah, it's a Summer idea. It's definitely a Summer idea. It's really well writing, and I don't think I could really see anyone else but Summer thinking that would be a good idea. I mean, I guess maybe I could see Freddy or Zach dumping them on Lawrence, because Lawrence is kind of the butt of many jokes and does a lot of slapstick, but I don't really see anyone else like dumping a box of cockroaches on Zach. Freddy maybe, but I don't see Tamika doing it, and I don't see Lawrence doing it. And I definitely don't see Mr. Finn doing it, because even though Mr. Finn is a goofball and kind of a lazy guy, he is still a role model and still like tries to adult and do things that are semi-responsible. And he wouldn't dump a box of cockroaches on the kids. The kids would dump a box of cockroaches on him. I mean, they've done similar things in the past, but he wouldn't do it to the kids. That wouldn't be a thing that this Mr. Dewey Finn would do. So, yeah, we see them run through the halls with Zach run through the hall with the cockroaches, and Principal Mullins is just like, okay, well, looks like we're gonna do this. And Mr. Finn, he still has some equipment switch. Yeah, sorry about that. My audio recorder battery died. So, let's see here. I was talking about Mr. Finn. He was like, yeah, my buddy, he's an exterminator. Here's his card. And Principal Mullins was just like, oh, well, I was just planning on having the kindergartners the second graders step on them. But then she gets cockroaches on her, and Clark gets cockroaches on him, and she's just like, all right, give me the card. We'll get a professional exterminator. So now we get to now that everything is set up, everything's ready. Now, what are they going to do for their music video? Well, Tamika and Freddie can't decide. And there's a little bit of going on where they can't figure out what they're going to do for their music video. But before I get into that, here's some other gags that Lawrence did. He wore a spandex rubber latex suit. I'm not familiar with what rock star did that, but I'm pretty sure one of them did at some point. Or it's just like the classic rock star look. And he's just like, he's making some sort of farty noises, and he's just like, oh no guys, that's not me, that's just the suit. And as he's standing there, there's a farty noise, and Tamika's just like, you didn't move right there, Larry. So he's just like, yeah. And he just makes some more farty noises as he goes to sit down, and whatever. It's a good little sight gag. And then there was another one where he shows up to class wearing, he looks like Slash from Guns N' Roses. Or at least I want to say his name is Slash. Yeah, it's Slash. You know, the guy with the curly hair and the top hat? That guy. I'm not all that up to date on my rock and roll knowledge. I just know who he is from Guitar Hero 3. But yeah, he dresses up as him. And, you know, if Guitar Hero was still popular, or this show came out in like 2000, what was it? 2009, back when Guitar Hero 3 was very popular and everyone knew what Guitar Hero was, chances are kids would get it, but now it's just, again, a joke for adults and the babysitters and whatnot. So, yeah, but that was the last joke with Lawrence. So, Freddie and Summer, or Tamika, they haven't been listening to each other and they don't know what their music video is going to be about. And, you know, working in a group, having done music videos in high school, that is, it's a common problem because everyone has different opinions on how they're going to do their music video and what they want to do for the music video, and it just doesn't always work out. So the group decides that they're going to just go ahead and do it without them and hope that they come to their senses and come and join them. So they go to the auditorium in their stolen from Scab's old extermination business thing. Which, okay, there's a little bit of a funny gag with Mr. Finn saying that his friend Scab, he worked in an extermination business, but he got fired. But, you know, he still has, but, you know, he took some suits and whatnot before he left. It's just like, yeah, he did get fired for stealing and whatnot, even though Mr. Finn said it was outrageous. Whatever, so they go there and Mr. Finn does a very, very bad Canadian accent to try to trick Principal Mullins, but, you know, she buys it because she's just like, oh, whatever. And they go down to the auditorium, to the gym. They're going to try to do their music video without Tamika and Freddie, but then Tamika and Freddie I will finish this analysis review. I will finish this log. And I'm not going to let dead batteries or lack of memory stop me. So, yeah. Anyway, so, as I was saying, Tamika and Freddie are having some difficulties, but they're coming to their senses. And one little visual gag that I got to bring up that I forgot about earlier is that when they were having their little argument spat, Freddie and Tamika were just like, I take back every high five I ever gave you. And then they start sort of doing a slap fighty sort of thing to take back the high fives. I mean, it was just a quick little thing, and
it's kind of funny. But they come to their senses, go to the gym, and they're going to do their music video. And what's their music video? It's like a splatter paint, make a mess in the extermination suits. And the extermination outfits, they are the full body white outfits, and everyone's wearing like goggles and whatnot to protect their face. So, okay, right then and there, how they disguised everyone, that's a good way of doing it. Now good way of playing it so that don't have to worry about, like, they can release it without people knowing who they are and still keeping their secret. Yeah. I was wondering how they were going to do this, and they ended up managing to do it. They play their song. It's a song. It's School of Rock. I mean, they're not amazing and whatnot, but hey, they play their song. And they do a little music video for it. And, that music video, it's alright, a lot of editing and a lot of camera work, and I kind of wonder how they managed to do all this camera work without anyone there to hold the camera. I mean, they didn't have, like, any of the background extras there to do it. And what we have next is the big thing where this is going to be probably a running gag throughout the series. It's Clark trying to catch them as School of Rock. Because Clark, he sees the guitar pick on the floor, and he picks it up, and he's just like, School of Rock is here. I know it. I'm going to find them. And he goes to the gym. He sees it's a mess. Actually, he actually sees the class. Like, he sees everyone. And he's just like, I knew it. I knew you were School of Rock. I am going to get you. I'm going to go get Principal Mullins, and I'm going to get you in trouble. And he falls into paint and gets all messy. So, how do they get out of this? Luck. That's basically it. The group, they get all of their messy equipment and whatnot and gather it all up, and the gym's all nice by the time Clark gets Principal Mullins, and Principal Mullins is getting a little frustrated with Clark. And because he's just taking her on wild goose chases, and he's kind of lost, Principal Mullins has lost her respect for him, basically. Yeah. And it ended up working out pretty well. He gets to the gym, everything's all nice and clean, and the only difference is that the mural of Principal Mullins now has a blue mustache on it, and Principal Mullins thinks it was Clark. So then he drags Principal Mullins to Mr. Finn's classroom, and everyone's throwing out the instruments really quick, like, and he's just like, everything is going wrong, and he just barely misses them, and it's decent timing, and Mr. Finn's like giving some sort of lecture on I don't know what, just to cover his butt, and just typical almost caught thing. And when Mr. Finn, he almost gets caught because he has some paint on his cheek, but he covers it with his hand. And Principal Mullins pulls Clark outside, or something. At one point, Principal Mullins is just like, Clark, you know how you came crying to me that you didn't have any friends? And he's just like, yeah. And she's just like, this is why. Oh, that was pretty good. That was a nice little rip on him. And again, it is the way that they're writing Principal Mullins and how she is dealing with everything is that she's not the antagonist. She's just the figure of authority. It's Clark that's the antagonist, and Clark's a little weasel. So, yeah. The episode, it was alright. Set gags and whatnot. It had some good physical comedy and stuff, and those have been episodes that really played towards them being in the band. That's welcome. I don't know where they'll go from there, but we'll end up having to see. And alright episode, I guess. I did pay attention a little bit to the background kids in the classroom, and I think it's a different group of background kids. And I still just wonder, what are all these background kids doing all this time? Yeah, it's kind of weird, and it's not really well thought out, I guess. Alright, well, this has been Pokematic signing off, and bye-bye. And I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'll have better batteries next time.